Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your boy, Joey. I'm here bringing you the first episode of Higher Education, the greatest podcast in the world. We talking facts, we talking logic, we talking weed. What's good, my man on the right?
My name is Matthew. You can call me Matt.
That was so
good.
Joey, that was so good.
Don't interrupt my man.
I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
You guys
Continue.
done?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay. My name is Matt.
Okay.
I'm sober, and I'm going to be one of the ones attempting to answer the questions. Mostly, probably wrong, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
This is.
It's okay
this,
to be wrong.
This
You
is
interrupted me again.
No, I'm trying to add to what you're saying.
She just wants to be
Go
known.
for it.
I was gonna say this is a general discussion,
General discussion.
so like no one here is a scientist.
I
No.
am.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
I definitely am not.
What's your name, bud?
My name is Jerry. I'm a Leo.
God damn it. Jesus Christ.
And I don't even have like an Instagram bio, so I don't know how to sum anything up.
Yeah, it's okay.
Just your name is fine.
That's good enough.
I'm
But what
Jerry.
are you right now?
What does that mean?
I don't know.
I think the
trying to
answer
explain
that
the
we're looking
show.
for is baked.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so now you introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm
Keep it
Morgan.
going.
I'm Morgan,
It was like a little mom, like.
and I feel like I'm like doing like ASMR right now.
You are.
And I'm an Aquarius.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so me and Morgan are both high,
Mhm.
and we're going to ask our friends Joey and Matt some questions.
Right.
Joey and Matt are not high. It is their choice. What do you mean?
Do we not? Do we
Morgan
not
was
have
too
to-
excited to
do we
ask the
just wanna-
questions.
Well, I want to talk about because the listener doesn't know this. The 4 people that are going to listen to, probably not even 4. But how was this idea born? What happened?
I don't
Well, we're all at Jerry's house,
Correct.
and the same situation was happening.
Exactly.
Jerry and Morgan were high.
And I genuinely do think that was one of the best conversations of my life.
It was interesting.
We talked about flight for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
that's
how
really
airplanes
cool.
Learning
And
all
I
about
still
planes
don't
and shit.
understand.
Yeah, none
how
of us
airplanes.
none of us still really don't get it. But
Yeah, that's.
But it was a great
I
conversation.
fly
I felt
F-15s.
so much like, I don't know.
we went.
I fly Southwest.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, don't say that. They're gonna come after us with a copyright strike.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Southwest doesn't
If,
sponsor us.
if Southwest comes at us with a copyright strike, then wow, we
The
did
only-
something right.
What we really deserve is a sponsorship from Spirit Airlines. That's where we're
yeah.
at
That's
this
where
point.
we're at right
Maybe we can build our way up, but right now we have the swag to get Spirit on us.
now.
Okay, so the point of this is that we're just gonna have a discussion with
Right.
each other.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And yes.
So you guys came up with some topics.
Yeah, we have 3 topics.
So you guys
We
are
have
Trump
3
supporters.
topics.
Oh
Absolutely
my
not. Absolutely not.
Okay.
And I should have said not a little faster because someone would definitely like splice that sound. And he's like, "So you're a
Cool.
Trump supporter?" And I say,
But they have like AIs now that can recreate. The
Oh my god,
voice
that is
without-
so fucking
scary.
scary.
Like without
Yeah.
you
Have
even
you
having
seen?
to-
Have you seen? What's that thing?
Shane Dawson's documentary.
I know they haven't seen it, but there's this thing called the
The
deep face, the dark.
Yes,
Deep fakes.
The
Deep
deep
fakes,
fakes,
yeah.
deep fakes.
Oh
that
my
shit
God.
is
That's super scary
crazy.
too.
Did you see the one that Jordan Peele did with Obama?
Yeah.
that was so
It was like it was
scary.
basically like it was this video of Obama sitting there, and he was like, "I advise you against the use of deep fakes and blah 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 blah."
And it wasn't.
And then it wasn't Obama, like
Yeah.
it was Jordan
Okay,
Peele.
okay.
And then Obama goes, "Peace out, bitches."
So, what is
Did you wait? I gotta talk about this. Did you see the fucking jacket that Obama was wearing? the
Oh
other day?
my
The
god,
Wow.
basketball?
that was
That was
That
the
is so
hardest
sick.
flex.
Wait,
of
what was it?
2019.
Is it
so
like a
subtly-
Gucci jacket?
Someone
It
Morgan,
said, I'll
pull it up.
find it.
It was
this
just a.
black- Oh my gosh, it was
And
this
it said
black
44.
shiny jacket.
It was bomber
with
jacket.
44 embroidered.
Just 44.
on the arm.
Was he
That was
wearing it
it.
at the
It was
UNC
so
game?
sick. Yeah.
Yeah, it was at the Duke game. Yeah.
Huh.
It was
The swag god.
It was an incredible flex. So that was a good tangent.
Yeah.
Back to the topics. We haven't gotten to the first one.
Alright, introduce.
Okay, so Morgan needs to present the first topic.
Also,
And Morgan, you have to do
sorry
it
for
exactly.
interrupting, but that's kind of the lifeblood of podcasts, so I'm going to do it. We also have pita chips and guac. So if you hear any of those noises,
Those are the pita chips and guac noises.
very important part of it.
Okay.
Can we just wait? Can we just say how great the guacamole I made
It's
is?
really good.
I haven't tasted it, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty
I'm
good.
not stoned, and I've ate almost half that bag of pita chips.
Oh yeah, that's what I like to hear. Okay, Morgan has to explain this in exactly the way you brought it up
Yes.
because like at first I was very
Yes.
confused.
Yes.
Okay,
Sure.
here you go.
That bodes well for us.
Okay, as I'm sure you have probably heard this argument from me before, because it's one of my, I guess, core beliefs at this point. So, okay, so picture an evolution chart
Yes.
Oh, I remember this from the last
I
conversation.
don't actually.
of monkeys turning into human beings, right?
Sure.
Right.
And let's say Neanderthal is the one that was right behind us. I don't know if that's correct, but let's just,
I don't-
for all intents and
yeah.
purposes,
They
let's
were
say that.
behind us, yeah.
Okay,
Not exactly
so
right behind us.
theoretically, evolution is survival of the fittest, right?
Yes.
So each one that comes after is technically genetically superior to the one that came before it, correct?
Natural selection is survival of the fittest, which
Yes, but doesn't
contributes
that
to
contribute
it contributes to evolution by a lot, but that's not the only thing that happens in evolution.
Okay,
But
well,
you got the gist.
regardless, so let's say, so obviously we're more developed than Neanderthals, etc., etc.
Yeah, some of us.
Okay, so very true. So you have monkeys still,
Yeah.
and you still have humans.
Right.
Where's the rest of that chart? Where's the people
Wouldn't
and
the
beings that were in the
argument-
middle?
Wouldn't the argument just be that the monkeys adapted to the environment in a different way, and that the other half of the monkeys then grew to like Neanderthals and shit?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you are asking where are all the Neanderthals and where are like the
Yeah, like I'm
the
saying.
intermediates between apes? Great
Yes,
apes
I'm
and
saying
humans
like how do you have
and Homo
apes
sapien.
and people, but not the ones that were coming in
Yeah,
between?
yeah.
Like why isn't it Neanderthals and humans?
Right.
Why is it monkeys and humans? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think I know the answer to this.
Go for it.
Is because Neanderthals, like you said, evolution, a big part of evolution is natural selection, which is survival of the fittest, right?
Yes.
So there were Neanderthals and Homo sapiens at the same period. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
However, the Neanderthals they were structurally different to us. They were very anatomically similar, but there were some big differences in like brain size and brain kind of structure. So basically, Homo sapiens was much better, much smarter, much better suited to the environment that we happened. So Homo sapien actually first cropped up in Africa, while most of the Neanderthals actually had spread out of Africa and into Europe. But Homo sapiens spread so quickly out of Africa into Europe and down southern part that we kind of just took them over. And there is Neanderthal and Homo sapien crossbreeding, and we know that because we know what sections of your DNA are from Neanderthals. So we know that we know that they crossbreeded, but the Homo sapien DNA just took over.
What does that mean if there's Neanderthal in your DNA?
So
You look like
that's
Roger Stone.
scary.
That's what it means.
so way back when, do you know what I mean by crossbreeding, right? So
like
They had sex with each other.
exactly.
Incredible.
Exactly.
Nailed it.
So if a Homo sapien has sex with a Neanderthal, half the DNA is from
Why
the
would
DNA
they do
from
that?
Like, would they?
She's
would they be
looking good.
similar?
What do you mean?
Would they be similar enough that they would want to have sex with each other?
Exact. So they were. That's exactly right. They were. So there's these thing called pre and post zygotic, like.
Say what?
So you know what a zygote is? Is like the
Yeah.
Little
the
baby.
smallest. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's the precursor to an embryo. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
it's a sex cell.
Sex.
And there's different barriers.
Sexual cells.
There's different pre and post zygotic barriers to actually conceiving an offspring, right?
Mm-hmm.
So some of the pre-zygotic barriers are like temporal barriers, which means you have like different mating seasons. There's obviously structural, like a plant can have sex with a human, although I'm sure some people have tried. And then there's post-zygotic barriers like donkeys or mules.
Mm-hmm.
If a mule has sex with a horse, the offspring is always infertile, and obviously then that stops that line right there, and that species can't.
In Shrek.
What does that?
Donkey.
Wait, is that a real thing?
That is
It
absolutely.
is.
a real
I
thing.
absolutely can confirm
How does that work?
How does that work?
Yeah, why does that make them infertile?
Just because their DNA is genetically different, so when it matches up, it just doesn't work.
That was a bunch of words.
It just doesn't work.
This is. Oh god, I haven't done this for a couple
The
years.
DNA is like no.
The post-zygotic barriers work because you have to have viable DNA to pass on to your offspring. You have to have that 50% of DNA to pass on to your offspring. And somewhere in the fertilization and the growing, like these donkeys or mules or whatever. I can't remember if it was a mule has sex with a mule has sex with a horse, or a donkey has sex with a horse. Like I can't remember what it is.
Or
but
like
this infertile
look it
offspring,
up.
they can grow up, they can live, but they just can't have kids.
So this is it the mule that's like sticking its thing in the horse, or
It
vice
can go
versa?
either way, I feel like.
A
Really?
mule is a
Is it just
donkey and a horse, and mules are the ones that are infertile.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A donkey has sex with a
Like the
horse.
stupid animals.
It's like crossing breeds, Jerry. Like if you had like
Oh wait, so you're saying okay?
Like
you're
if a
saying,
person-
wait. Let me put this together in my head. You're saying a donkey has sex with a horse, and then the horse gives birth to a mule.
yeah,
Exactly, and that
And the
mule
mule.
is infertile.
Okay, so the mules cannot give birth. Essentially, that's what we're saying.
It's
Yeah.
either they
they
can't
just
give
cannot
birth.
get pregnant.
It's either they can't give birth, they can't get pregnant, or such a tiny percentage of them actually can get pregnant that it doesn't even matter.
Okay, because I was thinking like the horse has sex with the donkey, and then the donkey can't have kids ever again. That's
No.
what I was thinking.
You
No,
think-
that's not
yeah,
how it
the
works.
Absolutely not.
Donkey's balls get fucking destroyed. when
That's
it's
what
like-
I was.
But anyway,
so
That
bringing it
mule
back-
pussy is just so good.
bringing it back to humans. So
yeah.
when the Neanderthals and the Homo sapiens had sex, there were none of those barriers.
Okay.
So the DNA successfully integrated the 50% Homo sapien, 50% Neanderthal. Now, Neanderthals died out because I believe that there was, one, not enough of them, and Homo sapiens were just expanding so rapidly that the Homo sapien DNA, these crossbreeds, just kind of overtook it. And eventually, way down the line, but the Neanderthal DNA is still a part of Homo sapien DNA.
Right.
Right.
Wait, so like all Homo sapiens have...
Well, it's Homo sapien DNA, but we know it's from
right, it
Neanderthal.
comes from...
It's
okay.
it's
Got it,
small
yeah.
percentages, obviously, but
Mhm.
but it's there.
Okay, so I have a question about that then. So if that makes sense, there would no longer like be Neanderthals, they would just slowly start to like trickle out.
Right.
Pretty much is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Then why are there still like straight up monkeys?
Well, because those monkeys are better suited to their environment than humans are. The reason that humans started evolving, the reasons that apes started like slowly straightening up, and their bone, like literally their bone structure started changing.
They got the swag in their walk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
because the climate changed.
Okay.
Because the climate changed when, like a very long, like, 6, 8, 10, 12 million years ago, the climate changed, and the jungle started shrinking. It got colder, so the jungle shrunk, and like a bunch of the trees died, and it was a savanna, right? It was starting to become a savanna. Exactly.
Savannah, Georgia.
Monkeys and apes are perfectly suited to the jungle. They can climb really well. They can swing. They have the thing where they groom each other is like a really good evolutionary thing for the jungle. But out on a savanna, there's nowhere to swing. You're just walking around on your knuckles, right?
Right.
Great apes, or I'm thinking of gorilla. I have a gorilla in my head.
Okay.
But it's any kind of great ape. I can't remember exactly what great ape. Maybe I think it was gorillas. Anyway, whatever. They kind of sucked in the savannah, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the ones that survived were the ones that could that had these little either mutations or
Right.
Well, it's usually driven by mutations, and so one day a monkey had a mutation that had it was a little bit more upright than its brother, and it could run a little bit faster than
Right.
its brother on its two legs.
Right.
Holy shit.
And then his brother got
Matt, you just like that just
his brother got eaten by a lion or some shit, and he didn't.
Whoa.
Rip.
And the brother that
And he
survived
passed his
genetics on. And then his kids were like a little bit more
Oh,
upright.
okay.
And
So
just-
does that mean that technically
Wait,
there,
can I
stop.
Okay, all
That
right.
technically there's one genetically superior person on Earth to everyone else?
No.
No.
Can I say
Because
something
it's-
really
it's
fast
environment.
before I forget
So-
it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This is only slightly related to what we're
Yeah.
talking about.
She's
Go
gonna start
ahead.
talking about Obama again.
We have to remember to get back here. But did you guys know that George of the Jungle and Tarzan are the same person?
Like canonically?
No, like they're the same
Whatever that
character.
means.
What? How?
What does that mean?
They got 2 different names. What do
Yeah.
you mean?
I know, but they're the same person. Like if you look up
His
their
name
bio,
is George Tarzan.
I guess I don't know. They're the same fucking person. I swear to God.
So
I looked it up
Tarzan-
one day and I was just upset because I was like, "How is this
Tarzan
possible?"
is like his
I'm coming
life.
through to see if I can prove this.
Tarzan is like his life when he's beat in the jungle just by himself, like with
I've never
the
seen
fucking
George of the
animals.
Jungle.
And then George of the Jungle is like
Wait,
when he gets
look
like
up George of the
gentrified.
Jungle.
What
By
is
that
George?
chick,
I know
Jane?
what you're looking
What
for.
happens in George the Jungle?
George
I
of the
don't know.
Jungle is like a live action movie, so Tarzan
Yeah.
was animation.
Oh, isn't that Brendan Fraser movie?
Maybe.
I think
It's the
Brendan
one that's
Fraser.
like
when he was
It's on-
fucking
it was
ripped.
on
George of the
Disney.
Jungle, watch out for that
Oh
tree.
yes, that was
Yeah.
it. George
Yeah.
of the Jungle. Okay, yeah, Morgan's pulling it up.
I'm not
Oh
connected
nope,
to
it's
Wi-Fi.
still on the
so-
mule look up.
Well, that's an interesting anecdote.
Yeah, I don't know. You started talking about gorillas, and I started thinking about Tarzan.
Maybe Tarzan evolved to George. Maybe
Yeah,
it was
maybe.
in his DNA
Or
the whole
like
time.
George is Tarzan's son or something. How
Oh.
like they're
With
related. in-
Jane?
Oh,
Did they
Well,
fuck?
yeah,
probably.
yeah,
Definitely, right?
yeah, definitely.
What happened?
There's
I
that
think I've never
song.
seen Tarzan all the way through. You know,
Really?
the longest like section of Tarzan I've ever seen was in like a. I remember it was in my pediatrician's office, and they had it on the TV.
Oh
I
yeah.
watched like half an hour of Tarzan. It was always some Disney movie,
Yeah.
like Lion
Yeah.
King or Tarzan. That was on
Back
TV.
when whatever that place is called, Right Time Pediatrics.
Yeah.
What was it used to be called though? It was like nighttime.
It was
Yeah.
nighttime. Why did
Killer.
they change it to right time?
I don't know
Because- I'm sure people probably assumed that it was a nighttime only clinic.
Oh, okay. I mean, I didn't.
I mean,
I
yeah,
have
she's
no,
right, right?
yeah, I have no arguments there.
But now they can't. Oh wait, they still have them though. Those little cars that drive around. They're like the little buggy cars, and they have
What
like
are those?
stars
Are
on
those
them.
just advertising, or they have doctors?
I have no idea.
They do
If
that
you
in
were gonna
France.
treat my kid in a fucking Volkswagen Beetle, I would take him out.
Do you guys know that they have that in France with the socialized medicine? They have like a doctor that you call the hospital, and a doctor will come to your house.
That's
For you.
fucking.
Whoa.
nuts.
Wow,
he, like, drives a
must be
car.
nice.
It's like Uber doctor.
We should get
Oh my
like
goodness.
healthcare.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be
Yeah,
lit,
that'd be
dude.
pretty nice to have.
What a world.
Yeah, I would like that.
So what was your question about the monkeys?
No, it was. I remembered because I'm the one that got us off topic. It was, why is there a human with a superior gene?
Right, no, because Earth is so varied. One, because Earth is so incredibly varied environmentally wise.
Okay.
Can I interrupt for 1 second?
Yeah, go for it.
According to Google, George of the Jungle is a 1997 American live-action film adaptation of the Jay Ward cartoon of the same name, which is also a spoof of Tarzan.
Yes, that's what
Oh,
it is.
So George
so
of the
George
Jungle
is like
is
a
a
shitty
parody.
It's a
parody.
parody.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
what it
parody.
is. Oh yes.
George
okay.
is like the Spaceballs of the Tarzan
Yeah.
universe.
Basically.
Why did someone think that needed to be created? I mean, I'm glad that it was.
Into the mic. Joe.
That money.
Why did someone think that needed to be created? Like, I'm glad that it
Speak
was
your
created
truth.
because I love George of the Jungle. But why was someone like, you know what needs a parody? Tarzan. Like, who thought that?
Because the idea itself is just so ridiculous that someone was probably just like, this is so stupid.
What
Like,
year did the cartoon come out?
the cartoon?
Yeah, I bet it was
Like
in
the
like the
90s.
30s.
Yeah, probably.
You say the 30s?
You
Wait,
guys,
when
what
did
was-
Tarzan come out?
You guys, you clearly have never
The
seen
30s?
Tarzan.
I've never seen
Tarzan was a black and white Charlie Chaplin film.
What?
No,
Where
I
he tried-
thought Tarzan was like a Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs deal, like in the 30s. The
No, I don't
classic
think so.
golden age.
Absolutely not.
There's
Please.
color in it.
And of course, there's
2003. You guys, what was
Tarzan did not come out in 2003.
I could have.
It did.
It did.
I remember Tarzan, like, this is a sad memory that I was about to say.
Did Tarzan hurt you?
I just remember waking up at, like, one of my dad's ex-girlfriend's houses and, like, Tarzan being on the TV and me being like,
June 18th, 1999.
Yeah,
Wow,
that makes sense.
really? So it was like a line.
I was too.
I thought it was like a wow. I'm really dumb.
Yeah, alright, I'm really glad we talked about Tarzan for this
Yeah.
long.
Yeah. So the humans thing. So is there a genetically superior human?
Mm-hmm.
No, is the
No.
answer. because there's so many environments on Earth, and there's so much connection on Earth. Because the thing, for evolution to happen, for one species to split into two species, right? You have to have a separation of geography. Is usually what happens.
Correct.
In divergent evolution, which I believe it's called. Now, there's other types of evolution. You can have different populations.
Divergent was a terrible book series.
It was.
I'm actually currently reading The Fifth Wave.
You 12?
Gonna hit up Maze Runner now?
Percy
Listen,
Jackson.
I wanted to get a hobby,
Don't ship
so I
out
wanted to
Percy
start
Jackson.
reading again, and that was the only substantial book that I could find. I borrowed it from my friend, so leave me alone. I'm trying to better myself.
Wait, is that the book that Chloe Grace Moretz did the movie in?
What?
I believe so.
You're looking at me, but I have no
The
idea.
Fifth Wave? I think so. Morgan, you are in for quite the ride.
I'm really excited.
Would you like me to continue the answer to the...
Yes, please.
Okay, so...
Wait, can we talk about how bad Divergent was really?
I never watched it.
I
Never
heard
seen
it was...
it.
I heard
Oh my god, it was
very
awful. It was the worst ending in the world.
Divergent is different than the Hunger Games,
I gotta say,
right?
Oh,
controversial
Hunger Games was great.
opinion. Controversial opinion. A Star Is Born had the worst ending I've ever seen to a movie.
Oh.
I didn't see
Wait,
it either.
wasn't The Star Is
I
Born
agree.
like a remake? of
Yes,
the-
Yes,
it was a remake. This movie has been
No
redone.
She's about to go off.
This movie has been redone over and over and over again, and it's the same.
But it's got Lady Gaga in it. She's good.
Lady Gaga is great. I'm not saying anything badly about Lady Gaga. I
Or
love her. And if the movie
Or Bradley Cooper.
and if the movie was based more around Lady Gaga's character, I would like it more. But it is like they just completely redo.
What is the
The
story
same-
that it's based on?
It's
Is it
this
called...
famous. It's yes, they're all called A Star Is Born. It's this famous guy who's a drunk meets this kind of lowly girl, like she's working at a bar or whatever, and she sings, and he falls in love with her, and he's like, oh my god, I need to make you a star, and he hears her sing, and then like he makes her famous, and then she becomes
It's like Piano
famous.
Man, I think. The song.
Oh yeah. What? No, I don't know.
Yep.
So anyway,
Just like Piano Man.
I'm spoiling A Star Is Born at this point.
I never watched it.
But well, I'm warning if anyone's listening. But she gets
They're
famous.
not either.
She gets famous, and it would have been interesting if it was like about how she's going against her values and turning into something she never wanted to be. But it's not about that at all. It's about how he's a drunk and he's just getting drunker, and then he dies, and she sings because he dies, and yeah, and everyone love it.
So basically, Bradley Cooper does not have the best genes. And he died off to natural selection, is
Right.
what we're saying.
So humankind is too connected for there to be, and there's too much drift in between populations. There's too much, whatever populations for it to really, for humankind to be speciated. In addition, it hasn't been long enough. So Homo sapiens only popped up, I want to say
Last year.
maybe, oh god, I can't remember. This was a long time ago. But like 100,000 to 200,000 years ago. That's not enough time for evolution to happen. However, there's cool things like, do you know Nepal, right?
Yes.
The country. It's very, very mountainous. It's where Everest is.
Yes.
And you know Sherpas,
Yes.
the people who guide people up Everest. So I read somewhere that their lungs, if they spend their life on, they're born up in the mountains and they spend their life up in the mountains. Now this probably isn't evolution per se. This is probably just adaptation to their environment. I mean, which is, I guess, is evolution. It's probably just spending a lot of time on a mountain and adapting to that. But their lungs have a higher capacity. Their brains function better in higher altitudes than other people do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've read about this, I don't want to say tribe, but I guess this culture of people that spend a lot of their time in the water.
Yeah.
So they've adapted.
Mermaids?
No, it's an actual thing. And they adapted to be able to hold their breath for 8
Yeah.
to 10 minutes while they're
What?
diving.
David Blaine?
It's literally like this
Yeah.
culture of people that live like
Yeah.
they're very like they're nomadic. They literally just like live in the water basically.
So
It's fucking sick.
so you can definitely see how different populations are like a little bit. Their bodies are a little bit more accustomed to
right.
some things, and that's kind of. I guess if we like completely separated that population for millions and millions of years, they would definitely have some structural genetic changes. But I don't think it's not gonna happen anytime soon. And there's nobody that's like genetically like can run faster, they can jump faster, jump higher,
Jump faster.
than
Interesting.
anybody else.
Wow.
Okay, should we move on to the
How do
next
you-
topic?
yeah, do you feel like comfortable with this answer?
Yeah.
I like this answer.
I do. I like this answer.
That was from my knowledge that I took in a bio class like 2 years ago. So if this does actually like, if this thing does actually like take off or whatever,
Oh my gosh.
we're gonna get a lot of anger.
Your license is revoked.
Yeah. Disclaimer: I might be wrong. Is what I'm saying.
Disclaimer, we're not trying to say that we're smart.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
So the next topic.
Yeah.
All right, Jerry's gonna go ahead and introduce the next topic.
Okay, guys, this is a question that I am very curious to learn about.
Yeah.
How do boats float?
Ooh, this is a question that I had a long time ago too. So this is based on physics. This is like a physics. Obviously, it's physics, but it's based on
What does physics mean?
what?
Wait, is that a like rhetorical question? Are you just
No,
reading?
I'm serious. Like what? Like physics is the the study of what?
Physics is the study of like forces and shit.
Study of like matter.
Matter.
Study of everything.
Like of everything.
Pretty
Okay.
much, yeah.
Okay. So like motion.
This is like fluid.
Yeah, motion would be
fluid
in physics.
dynamics.
Okay.
This is what this is. But anyway, so boats displace water while they're like sitting on the water, like because the hull goes into the water and they're pushing water out of the way. And it's the way that boats float is to do with they have to displace enough water that like they have to displace a certain percentage of their weight in water.
Okay.
Somehow that makes them float.
How does it stay balanced?
That's to do with the construction of the ship.
So if a boat is constructed poorly, it could sink.
Well, yeah, very. I mean, humans have gotten quite good at boat construction.
Yeah,
Hunter and his dad used to build boats.
Right.
that's
for,
cute.
Like a living.
That's cool. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, it's to do with how much because the bigger the boat is, the more water it displaces.
So okay, so it's pretty much like the people creating these boats have these calculations of what the bottom of the boat needs to be shaped like in order to displace enough water.
Right. Exactly.
So like cruise ships.
Cruise ships displace a fucking shitload.
Yeah, they're like gigantic, so it doesn't even
by
matter.
pushing away the water though, how are they staying afloat? Like what is that motion?
It's like it must be like holding it up.
It's as if they're swimming.
I'm not sure about that. I do not know.
Think of like elastic.
It might be like pushing the water away causes. Because when you push
Jerry,
up.
no, stop.
Okay,
I
sorry.
understand. I
Yep.
have an idea of how to explain it. Jerry,
Okay.
okay. Put your hand up on mine. Alright,
You've
so
linked
your
hands.
hand is gonna be the boat that's pushing against me.
Okay.
And my hand's gonna be the water that's pushing against the boat,
I
okay?
feel like I'm in
But is
therapy
that how it
right
really
now.
works?
You ready?
I don't
Go,
get this.
push.
I understand what's happening. Like we're
It's
we're
staying
both pushing
afloat.
against each other, but is this how it
It's
really
also
works?
to do with
Yes.
So it's to do with how much water it displaces, and it's also to do with like the density of the water.
Right.
So for anything to float, it has to be less dense than the. Okay,
Huh?
wait, what? I don't. Okay, so I think like early boat building was based on density, right? Because it's wood, and a lot of wood floats. But when you build big iron and steel battleships or whatever, that's when it goes into like, because iron and steel obviously doesn't float, so
Right.
that's not going to be positive buoyancy.
Mm-hmm.
But then it goes into how much water you displace.
Mm-hmm.
And like maybe it's like because when you push against a wall, the reason that you can't push the wall over is because technically there's like a force pushing back on your hand, and
Right.
it might be something to do maybe with that.
Or
That's just a
mining
wild guess.
something.
That was me saying I just told you that.
Yeah, it's true. Marty, she did. She
Boom.
nailed that. She nailed that one.
Okay.
But it's a lot of factors based on like density, and how much water they displace, and then there's like ballast in the boats.
Okay,
It's
so
like-
what about like Huckleberry Finn?
Like a raft?
Yeah.
A raft is just light.
Yeah.
Rafts are just very, very light.
So that can only go in like water that's.
If you
doesn't
put a
have
raft
lot
in
of
like a
density.
deep ocean, you're probably fine.
Well,
I mean, for like other reasons.
yeah. Well, rafts float because they're usually made out of like wood or like. Have you ever seen like in like the movies where they make them out of barrels, empty barrels? That's where it goes into density and positive buoyancy. So buoyancy is basically just like how much something floats, right? So if you
May
have
I interrupt?
yeah, go for it.
What about inflatable raft?
That's also density because it's filled with air. So if you're neutral buoyant, you'll like sit right on the top of the water and not sink. And obviously, you're not gonna float away in the air, but you won't sink if you're neutral buoyant. If you're negatively buoyant, then you'll sink. If you're positively buoyant, then you'll pop up to the surface. So rafts are usually made out of like lightweight wood, like barrels. Inflatable rafts are like just like the tiny plastic things filled with air, so they're positively buoyant. They pop back up, and then as you add weight to them, they'll like start going down, and then there's the point where you add too much weight and it'll sink because the force of the buoyancy is pushing against the gravity of the things, the weight, the mass of the things on top of it. As for like huge cruise ships, I'm pretty sure it's to do something about the displacement of the water, but I have no idea.
What about cargo ships?
That's
like the same thing, right?
That's
They're just big
displaced.
fucking
Yeah.
ships. But when you put people on and then the other you put like gas.
How so?
Yes.
How?
Gas,
I wonder,
oil,
like,
whatever.
how do they calculate like how much weight can be on each ship?
Probably with calculators.
yeah.
So do you think that like then why if you're going on a cruise do they like not ask you for your weight?
Because it wouldn't be like that. Nobody weighs enough to like tip it themselves.
Exactly. So cruise ships.
You would have to have a large human.
Exactly.
You would
So-
have to be the absolute unit. Like there's no way.
I'm sure that they have cargo weight limits on cruise ships.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and if you airplanes, if you bring this much stuff, you have to pay a fine.
Right.
Because obviously they give every time a cruise ship goes out, they're not like right on the line of like sinking or floating. They obviously the engineers would give them some leeway. But yeah, it's to do with that's why they don't stuff, thousands and thousands of people on the cruise ships. I mean they do, but it's all quite safe.
Okay.
Interesting.
I'm good with that answer.
Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
Okay.
Like I'm happy with that.
Yeah. I'm sorry I couldn't give you more than just they push a bunch of water out of the way. Because honestly, I don't
No.
really understand how
No,
it is.
it does, but it does make sense thinking about that. The hand thing kind of did work, Morgan. Thank you.
Wow, incredible.
Okay.
Real
all right.
life science.
What's the last one? Oh, money, money, money.
Yeah.
Ba-da,
Nice.
must be
Sure.
money.
ABBA.
Show me
Thank
the
you,
money.
Matt. I'm glad that you knew that. Okay, so our third and final topic is something that Morgan brings up a lot. That I've just
Because
kind
this
of
bitch broke? Talking about
that's a little too close to home.
Sorry.
This bitch is indeed broke.
But no, at this point, I've just learned that when she brings it up, to new people, innocent bystanders who have not heard this yet.
You just like to run about this?
She does.
Okay.
And
You
it's
just kind of tuned it out of this.
Yeah.
podcast.
I'm surprised I haven't heard it.
you might have. All right, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe money is real. And here's why.
It's not.
Oh, this is gonna be
It's
about-
actually not though. I think I agree with you.
This is gonna be
But go ahead.
why is a piece of paper worth this much?
Yeah.
It's
Not even that.
Oh, okay.
So, well, that in a way, but also, what really brought this home for me is the idea of online shopping.
Right.
Okay, so
What the fuck? Where is this going?
Online shopping.
no, but listen. So I'm online shopping, so I have to pay with a credit card,
Yeah.
Yes.
right? So I'm inputting my information so that numbers that are in my bank account get smaller and numbers that are in Forever 21's bank account get bigger, right? Essentially, yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. But never at any point is your okay, what your bank statement says, like on your app or whatever. Never at that point is all of that in your name at a bank in cash. So I mean, like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, obviously you could go get $500 from the bank, but like it's not your money, right? Mm-hmm. So when you are like just like transferring these numbers electronically, and nothing's really changing except some numbers are going down and some numbers are going up. I just don't understand how that's even a real currency.
I'm not an expert in banking, but the point of it is that, you don't have to have paper money to have money.
Absolutely not.
As long as everyone agrees.
But it's just numbers.
That's the crazy shit about
That's the crazy thing is it's not even anything anymore. It's literally just the accumulation of numbers.
But everyone agrees the numbers have the value they have.
But for what? What does
to make the world operate?
What does having a bank statement that says
because you can go to a bank and take out that amount of money in cash.
Okay. So say you had $6 billion in your bank account.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you go to your local SunTrust bank.
Okay, you're not.
And you say, I want to take out.
Nobody with $6 billion goes to fucking SunTrust Bank. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
You think you're gonna walk into this fucking local PNC and Mark Zuckerberg is gonna be writing a fucking certificate of deposit
if you had $6 billion and you went to like a big bank HQ, because if you're keeping $6 billion in a bank, you're one of their biggest customers, revenue earners, right? So if you go and you say you want like $20 million in cash in a briefcase, they'll probably give it to you.
Yeah.
Yes, and I understand that, but listen.
So you're gonna say, can you withdraw $6 billion in cash?
I'm not even asking if I can, because if I could, I would. Yeah. But I'm saying there's no chance that any bank is going to have $6 billion just sitting around that they can hand over to you. At that point, you're asking for your air quotations, your quote money. They can't even give it to you because it's not even backed by anything. It's just numbers on a screen. It doesn't mean anything.
It is backed. It's backed by the law and the government.
Yeah.
Okay, backed by the law, but like physically, what is it backed by?
Because
it's nothing.
Okay,
fucking Morgan's late on her electric bill, and she's like, "It's just numbers, Verizon."
Okay, wait. I do have a question.
I pay all my bills on time. Thank you very much.
But like, what keeps the government from just erasing like debt?
Oh my god, this is like
corporate greed.
No,
that's a woke take.
Because do you mean the national debt or like individual debt?
What
the national debt is
their own debt.
The national debt would be backed by other countries thinking that they owe or they're owed this money by the United States.
Again, it's just numbers though. Okay, perfect.
But if Donald went up to fucking
listen to me, this is a perfect example. Please just listen to me.
Wait,
this is a perfect example.
I have a question. I have a question.
We're not raising hands in this bitch.
I'm sorry, but like, what keeps them from just like raising the number on the screen? Then?
Correct. So what I'm saying here is, okay, look, we owe China trillions of dollars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
There's no way that we could just take this, like, physically. It's not even a physical thing at this point.
Well, there's a concept.
Yeah. It's an abstract concept.
Nobody cares about the physical thing. We don't look in the gold standard.
What keeps us from like changing that number on the screen to the number that it like needs to be?
If the U.S. government was like, "Yo, we got $1 bajillion," and then
which they did. Donald Trump admitted to the other day, but we're just gonna let that slide.
What?
But
he said that he has so much excess money right now, he doesn't even know what to do.
Or?
No, like the United States government has so much excess money right now, he doesn't even know what to do with it.
He's dripping.
Is that a real thing, or is that him just bragging?
I don't know, probably just bragging.
Do you ever know with what Donald Trump says?
But anyway, there's a concept in economics that a country needs at least like a small debt. Like you can run a surplus, which means you make more money in taxes and shit than you spend. But
money is just fake. You're always in debt no matter what you do. The government just wants to keep you circulated and keep control of you.
Wake up, sheeple.
Okay, what Matt was saying is right, but I don't think it gets at your question. Your question is really just asking. What you're asking is that you're completely bought into the idea that money has to be physical.
I'm not.
You are though.
No, I'm not.
I'm telling you, you are.
You've been yelling about numbers on a screen. Yeah.
You sound like a boomer right now. You're like the fucking numbers on the
only
screen.
reason why it works is because we have decided as a society that,
That
it works.
numbers
And that
on the
sounds
screen
like
works.
super
Yeah.
fucking deep and like
Okay.
edgy or whatever, but it's true.
Here's
It's
not-
crazy
It
how
is
much.
crazy.
It's fucking crazy how much of like human society,
It's
human
just
culture
us, like,
is just us
agreeing.
like assigning values to shit.
Yeah.
and agreeing
Okay,
to-
also-
Which is why I'm saying it's not a real thing.
Yeah, it's not.
Exactly.
I'm agreeing
So,
with you there, but I'm
what
saying that
keeps-
What does that mean? It's not a real thing.
What?
like money is. I mean, some
Money
money
is
is
an
a
abstract-
physical
Money
entity,
is real.
but
No,
That's an
listen.
abstract-
Okay, listen to me.
Money
All
is
that's
real
happening
because-
is pixels on their screen are
Listen,
changing.
Morgan's about to
fucking
rob us
shut
all.
up about
She's
numbers
like,
on a screen.
it's just numbers, bro. Why are you so mad? I took your money.
It's we're not trying to say it's not a real thing. We're saying it's an abstract.
No, she just said it was
concept.
not a real thing.
Okay, well I'm saying it's an.
It's an abstract concept.
It is
Yes,
a weird
I
concept, but
agree.
it does
We're
make sense.
assigning-
It
that
does
we're
make
assigning
sense.
It does not make
It's
sense.
Okay.
the most money is the most efficient way to exchange goods and
I
services.
disagree.
Can you
Okay.
fucking imagine if you had to go down to the seashore and pick like 10 shells to give to Brenda for your bananas for your breakfast?
If you still had to barter.
No, yeah, fuck that. Money is the best
10
system.
eggs for a cup of sugar.
Okay.
Morgan's
here's
like,
my
oh,
next
it's the world I want to
Okay,
live
so
in.
here's my next question then. Okay, I think
Yeah,
this question
sure.
is a
Yeah.
fair question.
Okay.
At least I personally think so. Okay,
Okay, yeah.
We're in for a ride.
so
I'm scared.
I go to a store.
Yes.
Wait, so this is your
This
system?
is part of a money question.
Yeah,
So just follow along with
Okay.
me.
I'm following.
I'll try.
I go to a store and I have a $20 bill in my pocket
Yes.
and
Lucky
I
you.
buy a bag of chips.
Yes.
Very nice.
God damn! One bag of chips with $20.
That's expensive.
You went to Whole
Is it
Foods.
a bag?
What kind of chips you got,
and
Morgan?
I would probably get
I would
pop
probably
chips, sea salt.
Oh.
Hot chips?
Pop
Oh,
chips.
pop chips. Oh, that's
Those are my
pretty good.
favorite.
Yeah, that is $20. You're not wrong.
It
Are
is,
you
I know.
serious?
They're like $5 for a bag.
For like a bag of chips, yeah.
I know. It's really bad.
Stupid.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Back in my day, you could pay a fucking nickel for a gumball, dude. Fucking Gen Zers don't know what's going on with economics. bro.
How much do gumballs cost these days?
I don't
Probably
know,
like
bro.
75 cents.
Probably like 25 cents.
Inflation's just
Yeah,
wild.
dude, inflation, bro. It's
Okay,
fucking
gumball
over my
price.
gumballs.
So, I have a $20 bill. Let's say these chips cost $5. So, I give them $20.
Yeah.
They give me $15 in change back.
Good math.
Yeah,
Okay?
sure.
Yes. So, I have $15 in change in my pocket. And
Now
I
you
have
just scammed the fucking US government out of taxes. Nice job.
and I have my chips, right?
Yeah.
But now the store has a $20 bill that they can use as a $20 bill, even though
But they gave you.
they
15.
own. That doesn't matter.
What in what world?
Wait, what
Does
is
that
this
not
question?
Okay, because they can use it as a $20 bill. It doesn't matter
Right,
that.
but they
the
gave
thing
you.
only
So
costs
if they're
$5.
listen. You're thinking of it in just that one transaction, right?
Correct.
Okay, no store does only one
It's
transaction.
like Matt's just
Okay,
getting angry.
so-
Listen,
So-
shut up.
No,
Listen.
no. I'm gonna answer this in 1 second. The store had $20 just in different bills. You didn't do anything.
No.
Look,
Yeah.
if this
You're
is
not
Morgan,
getting it,
Morgan,
Joey.
if there's $100 in the till, right? There's $100
Correct.
in the till. You give them $120. Now there's $120 in the till, right? 100 plus 20 is 120. Confirm this for me.
Yes.
Okay. Then they give you $15 back in change. There's $105 in the till. There's the $20 didn't appear out of nowhere. They had a net gain of $5. That's it.
Yes, and I understand that. Maybe a
Right.
store is not the best.
Right.
What is your
And if
question?
And if they use
here?
that, listen. If they use that $20 that $20 bill,
Everyone's
as
gonna
a
stop moving
$20
closer.
bill,
You
they
guys
will-
are like attacking me.
they will now have $85 in the till. Right? They can't.
The till. It's simple tillnomics.
The cash machine. What do they call it in America? Do you call
The
it tills
cash
in
machine.
America?
The register.
The register.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
No.
The till. Yeah. So what is the question you're asking? You keep just producing this statement.
They
You're
can
like-
use it as a $20 bill. What does that
That's
mean?
not a question. That's just like you stating. Yeah, a $20 bill is worth $20.
Yeah, a $20 bill is worth $20, but like you gave up a $20 bill,
Yes.
Yeah.
right, for a $5 product.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you get change, whatever. You go about your way.
$15
Yeah,
to be
sure.
exact.
Yes, $15
Let's
to be
go
exact.
facts. We're in Delaware.
And
Does Delaware
now
have a-
you, let's say
Also.
you, Joey, let's say you sold them to me, not a store, right?
Yeah.
Now you have a $20 bill to do with as you please, even though
To do with
You're gonna shove that so far up his ass.
even
They're
though
real kinky like.
even though I only have a $5 product.
Yeah, but you have $15 and a $5.
Yeah, and I just lost $15 though.
No, you.
Like
you
no,
gave
no, no,
five.
no, 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 no. I mean, I lost
Oh,
15
yeah.
physical dollars. I had to give her 15 physical dollars for her change. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't lose $15, but I lost the physical
You gained
$15. Yeah. But I'm saying I gave her 15 physical dollars.
No, you didn't gain. Oh god, Morgan's making.
No. The transaction was that she paid 20 for something that was 5.
5.
So I, as the seller, gave her a 10 and a 5. That's 15 physical dollars.
Right. So you made
But I didn't-
$5.
Yeah, but I didn't lose anything. I'm just giving her
Exactly.
$15 to
Why are we explaining this? Why
I
do we
don't-
have to explain this?
We need, like,
I don't even know what
in
we're
elementary schools when you have to do like the math with the dimes and nickels and shit. I feel like that's what I'm doing right
I
now.
would.
This is like elementary education.
Morgan,
You know
Morgan was in elementary school doing that, like, how many dimes does it take to get this many cents? And she
Yeah.
was like plotting this in her head.
Yeah, she's like, money isn't real.
isn't real.
I was actually in the gifted and talented program in elementary school. Thank you very
Really?
much.
Ooh.
But
Who wasn't?
that's true.
I'm kidding.
No, that's
I'm
true.
kidding.
She's hurt.
Yeah, I even lost my train of thought of what I was.
So
gonna
where are
say.
we at on this money question?
Oh, I would also just like to point out that was what I was going to say.
Yeah.
That you're talking about elementary education, but to be fair, my freshman year of college, I had to take a math that was non-credited because it was for people who were so bad at math. They literally taught us how to reuse rulers and
Oh my
stuff.
god.
What?
It was really
That's
bad.
impressive.
That's pretty good.
I'm satisfied with the answer to the third question.
I mean, it wasn't really a question.
I want to.
I don't feel satisfied.
I'm like
I
confused.
just feel like there's nowhere else we can go.
I don't think.
I think
don't
she's
think
struggling
there
with the
is.
concept of like that where we just accept that money.
Which
Yeah.
is crazy. It is insane that we
It is insane, yeah.
all accept we all accept this abstract concept as like a real
Yeah.
thing, and
Yeah.
we make it a
But
thing.
it works.
Yeah.
It works.
Well, for them.
It doesn't though.
How does it not work? What's wrong with it?
Have you seen?
Listen.
Have you
No,
seen?
listen. I know that the U.S. is in a lot of debt. And I know there's a lot of poor people, but that's not money's fault,
Yeah.
right? That's society.
Yeah.
That's the other.
That's
there's other
society
factors.
abusing it.
But that's society abusing it. But the idea of money is created by society and enforced by society and followed by society.
Yeah. Well,
so
in like a utopia, there would be nobody. Nobody.
you mean
there would be
when Bernie
no
Sanders
money.
gets elected?
Exactly.
No, Bernie's not that far left.
Maybe
Maybe.
there'll be a utopia though. I'll be very.
In a
happy.
utopian society, there would be no money, and everybody would have
Yeah.
everything, and everybody would care for it. But in the society we have now,
Which is broken.
unfortunately, I absolutely agree with you. It is in some ways it's very broken. I think that it's a good system.
Let's keep it positive.
So basically,
I'm not saying like capitalism is a good. I'm
Capitalism
saying
is broken.
the concept of money is the most efficient way to exchange
Yeah.
goods and
As
goods
of
and
this
services.
point in our lives,
As of this
I mean,
point
sure,
in our
yeah.
lives.
I'm sure eventually someone will find something else.
What would be better than money?
it could possibly.
Or what would be more efficient than money?
Well, at this point,
Just
it's all
beaming-
it's all via technology.
Materializing Brenda's banana right into your stomach.
No, I'm just saying it's all done via technology. So as technology progresses, I'm assuming that will progress as well.
What does that mean? That was like a really bold statement.
Yeah, that was like
To
you.
say,
Like,
like,
I feel like
nothing.
you
You
went
said
in
that
a
with
completely
confidence.
different
Yeah.
direction.
No, she's just
I
saying. She's just
think
saying
I-
that there will be
I-
something
I
that
think-
makes exchanging goods and
Yes.
services more
Mhm.
efficient than money. But I don't
Okay.
know
Thank
how
you.
you would do
Wait.
that.
All I'm saying is it's such an abstract idea now, and it's done via technology. Like, obviously, if I spend $5 online shopping at Forever 21, $5 isn't automatically wired to Forever
Right,
21.
right.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that if it's done via technology and just changing numbers on a screen, eventually,
God,
as
Rebecca.
technology,
But
as
the
technology
technology is
excels, so is that that process.
So, like,
The
what is
technology.
your
Listen,
future?
listen.
No, wait.
Listen.
I haven't talked in a minute.
You just talked. Okay, whatever. Go ahead.
With this new, when you're saying like a new updated technology, could you be
A new
talking
what
about,
technology?
or
Just
you know,
keep going.
could you be trying to talk about like cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin or something like that?
Still money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's new money. It's
But-
something
no,
that was
it's
not
still-
thought of before.
No money. Listen, the technology that makes the transfer of money and the convenience of money advances. Yes, I absolutely agree.
Yes,
with you.
obviously,
But
but
the
if
concept-
you have
the
cryptocurrency,
concept-
you technically have money,
The concept of
cryptocurrency.
money, and the concept
which is fake.
of a valuable thing
Okay.
has been around, has not changed since it's been invented.
I disagree.
No, it's
Of
no,
course it
no,
has.
When did it
that's
change?
true. It hasn't changed.
Just the transfer has gotten more with like the internet and banks and like wire transfers.
Yes,
and now
and I
cryptocurrencies,
get
stuff
it.
like that.
I understand. But what I'm saying,
I don't think you do.
I do. And what I'm saying is, okay, let's say we're back in the days when we had to barter for goods,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Right.
Okay. So,
Which is still a form of money, by the way.
Yeah.
okay, but just hear me out.
Sure.
So I have some eggs and Joey has some butter, okay? And we need like what each other has. So we're like, you know what, this is what we're gonna do. I'll give you 3 eggs for 1 stick of butter, like something like that, okay?
Right.
Okay. So I, in that situation, am gaining something. I am gaining a stick of butter. I have a stick of butter I can use. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Fast forward to when currency started being used. So whatever it was, you had a silver rock and I had a orange one, like whatever, right?
Sure.
Okay, I gained something because now I have something of value, the orange rock or whatever, that I can use.
Yeah.
Then you have actual money, paper money that's minted and printed
Okay,
by
so
the US
you're-
government.
Yeah.
And now I'm saying we're in a technological age where no one's gaining anything, but their number on a
Okay.
screen is
But
going
the
up.
Okay,
That's what I'm
okay.
saying.
No,
The
wait.
concept of exchanging the silver rock for a stick of butter is exactly the same
Yeah.
as swiping a card for a stick
Okay,
of butter.
before you say anything, because I know you're about to say some wild shit about how, like, we need to make money trees or something. Okay, in your example, the stick of butter is literally just physical currency because
Yes.
the people decide how much it's worth.
Yes.
So the exact same thing is how money works now with physical currency.
Very good.
Except,
You said that way better than I
okay,
did.
but listen, I'm really just on the whole electronic transactions
Yeah.
right now.
We no longer like really use cash that often.
Yeah, it sucks.
So it's like
It's
it's not
just
the same
numbers
exchange.
changing.
It's not the same exchange because it's not physical anymore now. Now
Okay.
it's over a screen. That's the
It's
difference.
not- it's not just
the thing
numbers
is that the
changing.
numbers are backed by something, though.
Yes, but okay, the U.S. is in so much debt because they don't have the money, right?
Sure.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean,
Well,
So they don't have the
Kind
money
of.
to fix it. But then you're going to tell me that someone is sitting on billions of dollars, that like none of
Yeah.
it's real. Like, how is
I'm pretty sure Jeff Bezos' wealth is real.
it doesn't matter if it's numbers on a screen. It's because the numbers are backed
Yeah,
up.
because anyone would
What
accept
are they backed
his
up
money.
by?
They're backed
The
up by the
banks,
law, the
The
banks.
banks, the government,
The
the
fact
world.
that
What's-
if the numbers on your screen go to 0, you're fucked.
Why?
Because we
If-
agree. Because that's how the world works.
If
So then
one
why
day-
doesn't the government, what is stopping the government then from going into Jeff Bezos' account and saying, this is the money we need to fix?
Because it's
Fix-
illegal.
That's illegal. There would be repercussions for that.
If there was like an
What
executive,
repercussion?
if there was an executive order to
If Jeff
obtain
Bezos
all,
has the money, how does the United States not have the money? How do countries not have the money that a single
you're
person
assuming that
does?
they don't.
I think we're gonna.
Obviously
you're
we don't if
jumping all
we're-
over the place.
No, we
this is
do.
crazy.
Then why are we in debt?
Because it's not the right. I mean, I'm not an economist, but I don't. I mean, being in debt isn't causing any issue to us.
There's
I mean,
an-
well,
there's an
that's probably wrong. I
There's
should
an
rephrase
economic
and say
concept
that.
of it's better for a country to be in, like, there's a reason for the national
I
debt.
should say
like, it
our-
would not be good if
yeah.
the national debt was 0.
I should say that, like, instead of saying that there's no problems, but there's no giant, massive problem. Like, our country isn't failing because we're under so much debt. Unless you watch Fox News, then we actually are failing because of the national debt. But,
It's probably not great being so large.
Yeah.
But there. I don't know what it's called. I don't know what it is. But there's a point to the national debt.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like we just jumped all over the
That's
place.
true.
Like,
That was crazy.
Just to like continue a little bit, even though we owe so much to China, it's not like we're China's bitch. I mean, in a way we are. In a way we are. But it's not like China is like overrunning the world because they're like, oh, the U.S. owes us so much money, and like because of that, we're gonna hold it against them.
True.
So.
China's not a great country.
Yeah, no. But.
They're doing a lot of really shitty stuff.
Yeah, a lot.
So basically, money is fake, but it's given power by the people, and capitalism is a flawed system.
Morgan, you're snapping. Do you like that answer?
I like that answer.
There you go.
Okay,
God
there we
damn,
go.
Holy shit. That
We
last
got
one
through
was
our
a doozy.
three
We stand a
topics.
woke sis.
Thank you. If anyone listened to us talk,
This is
to
probably
each
2
other,
hours long.
No,
I
it's
mean-
like 50 minutes.
The three of us will listen to it. I don't know
Yeah.
about anybody.
I
but
will
the four of
definitely
us will
listen
listen
back.
to it.
Your
Hunter
friends
will listen to it.
this.
All my Stevens and friends will listen to
Yeah.
it.
I'll-
We'll get some views.
We'll
Shout
get
out
at
to
least
Stevie
7
U
views.
people.
We can try and get the
Listen,
UMBC
whatever.
people to listen.
Yeah,
What is this? Is this going up on SoundCloud or
Yeah,
YouTube or
on
what?
SoundCloud,
SoundCloud?
YouTube, probably.
SoundCloud.
Okay.
I'll do both.
Alright. Okay, so
Try and get on Spotify.
Yeah,
We
one day.
probably
Get some
won't be able to get on
sponsors.
Spotify.
They won't. Well, I don't have the money for it, but once I increase the numbers in my account, then I'm on top.
How do you actually get on Spotify?
I don't know. It's probably like the same process as Apple.
I'll do some research.
Okay.
Okay.
Morgan's on it.
Anyway, thank you guys for listening to us.
Yeah.
We're Higher Education, and this was our first podcast.
Goodbye.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Cut.